this guy, and I was like asking him, "Do you know where it is?" And where it's from, and I really wanted him to ask me, and I was like, "You should ask me where it's from. Do you know? I know where it's from. Do you know where it's from?" Anyway, he blocked me.
In a world desperate to tear itself apart, only one man, and some other people, stand in the way of total destruction. Together they will right the wrongs, make bad, good, and single-handedly destroy evil, together. Who is this man, you may ask? This man is Geoff.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Geoff Jones and Friends Make It Better, the show that takes life's little annoyances, grounds and pounds, turns them around, and ultimately makes everything better. I'm very delighted today to be joined by voiceover artist RJ Bayley. RJ, how are you?
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm good. All the better to be here and speaking to you once again, although it was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, and regular listeners to this show will maybe realize that I'm enunciating more because I'm feeling very, very, very concerned that you are going to sound better than I am. Yeah, I mean, you came on. God, it must be well, it's certainly season one. You came on with Tim Hardy.
Mhm.
So he came on, and they both came on because you
Mm.
were doing the voiceover for one of his books, right?
Yes, yeah, I think that's the only time I've been on with Tim, doing Hall of Bones.
That's the one.
Yeah, with him, the first part in his pseudo Viking fantasy series.
Yes, and I know that he was very, very pleased with that. As you know, I mean, know Tim. I'm sure he's blown plenty of smoke up your ear from it, and hopefully paid you well. But yeah, and then obviously you happened to come on your own, and I forgot and stood you up because
Yeah.
I didn't add it to my diary. Um, and which I apologize publicly for.
Not
It's
at
very
all.
tardy of
Are
me.
you a you're a fe am I right in thinking you're a fellow ADHD haver,
I
enjoyer?
I am, yes, enjoyer. Yeah, it's
So that explains it, because I'm terrible with scheduling. I totally forgot we were doing tonight until I got the notification on my calendar at 10 to 8 and was in the middle of boiling water for pasta. So I've been like, oh my Lord, I have to
oh,
run up to the studio. So
which is amazing,
I'm there
as
myself.
I did check with you yesterday.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
To be fair, I had a quick meeting before this meeting, and I did put it in the diary, and I had a little message saying, "Oh, you've not sent the invite." And I was like, "Oh, thank God that I said that because I would not have been there." Now, RJ, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a long time in the making. I'm very glad that you're here. Very quickly, introduce yourself to the listeners. Talk about your work and what you're working on, what you have worked on, anything you want, and then we'll get cracking.
My name is RJ Bayley, as you know, if you've listened to Geoff, which you have been, that's kind of the point. I'm a voice actor and audiobook narrator. They're kind of the slightly different things, disciplines. Yeah, I narrate audiobooks mostly. Most of my income is from audiobooks. I also do adverts, corporate stuff, the very occasional video game, which I'd like to do more of, but yeah, very occasional video game. And I do a lot of audio dramas as well, appear as a voice actor in those. And I also am a fledgling professional fiction writer as well. I write the travelogue stories for the tabletop war game, battle game, Xeogenesis, which is like a mech in anime inspired tabletop skirmish war game. If you know what Warhammer is, it's that's a tabletop war game. It's similar to that, but it's its own IP. So I write stories for that as well. And that's me. Oh, I do the
Uh,
podcast. If you want to hear my audiobooks for free, some of them, I have the podcast Bailey's Bookshelf as well, which is free, professional standard, well mastered, well produced audiobooks of recently just did the extremely prescient 1984. I've done Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I've done Dracula. I've done The War of the Worlds. And on Patreon, which I need to catch up with desperately, I'm currently doing the H.P. Lovecraft stories as well. So you can
Oh,
check those out.
I will. I say I will. I probably won't, but my wife will.
Ah.
So there's a lot of those I think will tick very well off her. And I would obviously as well because I'm an uncultured swine. And instead of listening to audiobooks, I listen to Friends recaps and bloopers. But
That's fine. You've got to have brain off time. You've got to have brain off time.
Right, okay. Just before we get into what we're making about
Mhm.
today, a couple of questions on that. First of all,
Mm.
how not how did you get into it, but how difficult or easy was it to earn money from it? So turn it into a career. There we go. That's the question.
So I've been doing this like 9 years now, and I don't think there is a traditional way in. There's not like a school you go to and you get a qualification in audiobook narration. So basically, I was off work. I was having, doing a 9 to 5, and I hated normal jobs. I really struggled, and I bounced around between jobs. And then got was diagnosed with diabetes and went off my current job at the time, long term ill. Eventually, I lost that job because I was off for such a long time. Um, it has it has a really bad effect on your mental health to the point where diabetes departments have their own psychiatrists
Yeah.
because it's known to cause really bad depression. And I had depression anyway, so I was like at times in a real psychosis, like seeing things that weren't there. Dogs walking, going down the street with large, giant, spiky heads. I was unable to understand English at times. Sometimes when I was on the phone and writing notes, I would look down and I either I'd written English or I hadn't, but it looked like Cyrillic or something. Like I was really like it having
Wow.
psychotic episodes. So I was off work for quite a long time, and someone suggested to me, and I did community radio, and I still have an online radio show, which I should have plugged as well. Metal Empire, check it out. It's on Mixcloud. If you like heavy metal and bands, um,
Heavy metal and bands.
listener bands. And so I knew my way around recording software from having a community radio show. I had a microphone. Someone suggested, look, I knew someone who just went on this platform called ACX, the Audiobook Creation Exchange, where authors put their books up, indie authors, self-published authors put their books up, and people can, voice actors, narrators can go and audition for stuff for it, submit a sample, hopefully get selected, create the audiobook. I either got the first or second one I auditioned for. I'm not sure because I don't know if I properly submitted the first one. So either I auditioned for two and got the second one, or I only managed to audition for one and got that one straight away. And then what I did is I also wrote movie reviews for websites, and I had given a filmmaker a nice review for his short film. Um, he then he was very grateful to me because it was a really, really, really enthusiastic, effusive review, and he was like got in touch later, stayed in touch, and then he was like, "I'm doing some adverts for Nickelodeon. Would you like to provide the scratch voiceover, which is the temporary voiceover, and then I'll say to the people who make it because they'll want like maybe a more experienced voice actor, but I will say to them, look, if you like this, let's just use this guy as a favor to me. That happened, so I got an audiobook and a TV advert within a few, like within the first 2 weeks. And I was like, oh, this is me then. This is fantastic. This is my job. Um, and and then I like just relaxed for like 2 weeks and was just like, or 3 weeks, and was like, oh, this is easy. All I have to do, make plenty of money. And then I went and spent it all on gigs and merch and was like, okay, let's wait for the next jobs. And then it didn't happen. And then it was like, oh, okay, right. That was just a fluke. And then I like had to graft hard at it for a long time. So it took a while to start generating a decent income from it. It certainly wasn't livable for a while because, and I was on disability benefits due to my diabetes and mental health issues. So that helped as well to begin with. Um, but yeah, so it took a while to get going. Most people would like segue into it, and they would just like have a normal job, and then they would get their voice acting going on the side. And once that reached a level, they'd go in with both. They'd take the plunge. Me, I didn't have a job, so I was just like, well, I'm just going to put everything into this. So yeah, but it still took a while to get there, a few months certainly. If not a bit longer to get some kind of sustainable income. But I'm still here, thank God.
Well, actually, first of all, no, I really appreciate kind of your honesty about health, mental health. I mean, it's very much over the seasons of this show, very much a long running
Hmm.
topic, which is very close to my heart and very much something which I enjoy. Enjoy is probably the wrong word, but I enjoy this to talk about the mental health because
Yeah.
it's positive. If someone's comfortable enough to talk about it, then it's positive. It's putting that positivity out there into the world
Yes.
to say to other people, look, it's hard, but
100%.
it's okay, right? So
Yeah.
first of all, thank you very much for that, and yeah, I hope you're in a better place now.
Thank you.
Secondly, I mean, it sounds like people who want to give it a go, make sure you've got the right equipment because people don't want, you can't submit something if it doesn't sound right, but
Yeah.
also, yeah, give it a go. If you want to try voice acting,
Yeah.
then put yourself out there and see what happens. Learn from others.
Hmm.
I mean, I know before we came on camera, you were talking about something you've been working on and all the different dialects and things. So it's not
Mm.
just a case of reading a book and putting your voice to it and be like, there you
Yeah.
go, job done, off you go. You got to be prepared to put the work in like anything. Um,
Absolutely.
but if it's something you're interested in, and hopefully, RJ,
Do
you
it.
wouldn't mind if someone has been thinking about giving it a go, if they contact me, and
By
hopefully
all
I can
means.
ask you for tips.
100%, 100%. I've done it in the past helping people. I will always help people. Not just voice actors, but also I've helped authors. Even when I haven't ended up narrating the audiobook, I've helped authors navigate how to get an audiobook made of their work. So I'm more than happy to help. More than happy to
There
help.
we go. Fantastic. Right, RJ, thank you so much for that.
Hmm.
But we have a job to do. We've got
Yes.
to put some positivity out into the world. We've got to build, build. We've got to make it all better. And this is our brick for today. This is our brick for the week. What is it that we are making better today?
So this is not succinct. I apologize. But basically, it's people being too easily pleased with and too quick to have their opinions validated.
So my mind is already it's kind of spread off into several different directions. But go give us. So that's that. What go give us a bit of meat on the bones. What is it we're talking about?
So basically, and this is very terminally online of me, unfortunately, but people are they will have an assumption or they will have an opinion and they will not critically examine it, and they will see things on the internet is amazing, and I would not have a job without the internet, but also it's absolute poison at the same time
Mm.
because people will have these opinions and these thoughts, and they're often bad, negative, regressive, unpleasant, bigoted thoughts, quite, and there will be outlets that will just validate that and go, you're correct. And it's so easy for people, too easy for people. And frankly, I'm putting the onus on them, actually, at the people. It's a lack of discipline and a lack of intelligence, in my opinion, in a lot of cases. Not always, but in a lot. That they'll just go, oh, good, I agree with that. I'm right. People like being right. And
Yeah.
so they will get themselves in these little echo chambers. And the other people will just say, "Oh, this happened the other day in the park. A man of a, for example, something I saw on a Facebook area name billboard Facebook group, it was called, and you get these little billboard thing groups around in different areas. Brown man in park was watching children sat on, bent and like, and
I
there was
think,
just like there was no like, well, what if it was just people piling on and going, yeah, I. they were always funny like that. Yeah, they do like there are all these rings, these rings of brown people with their I don't know what kind of language am I allowed to use here.
you go for it.
Like pedophile
But
rings and
pedophiles,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Yeah, and it's like there was no like, well, there are brown people who go to the park and might just be sat on a bench, and it's might or what if their child was one of the children in there
Yeah.
playing, like people, but people will voraciously like piranhas being fed chum off the side of a boat will just come up like and froth in the water, nom, 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 delicious, delicious validation. And like and it's like there is no and all of this does is it grows this unpleasantness and this this bigotry and this prejudice against certain people. That's kind of what I'm talking about. But also beyond that, there are news outlets and other Facebook pages or social media outlets where they will identify people's opinions and they will go in the reverse. They will work backwards. So I don't know because I'm not one of these people. I've never done it. But my assumption, what appears to me is they will identify groups of people with opinions and then they will create news stories,
Yeah.
um, which in order for certain groups of people to agree with them. So these groups of people will go, look, there's a news story, but evidently the news story it's worked in reverse. And the news story, air quotes news story, has been designed to agree with and match pre-existing opinions. Whereas previously news, and ideally news was like, this is the truth, and let me present you with what has happened in these facts. And people in an ideal world would be like, oh, okay, right. That either agrees with that's what I thought, or that isn't what I thought, and I need to reassess my opinion.
Yeah.
But now people just seem to get such a buzz off being right, and it's even if what they don't think what they think is wrong, but when it's wrong, people will organizations and outlets and other agitators will feed those opinions in order to profit from them, or in order to just be unpleasant and get generate drama, which they love, and just whip themselves up into an enjoyable hysteria. So that's kind of like what I'm talking about. I apologize, I've
So
rambled a lot
in
there, but I
short,
care a lot
that's
about it.
no, no, and you're right. And as you're talking, I think so. I think I saw the one about the gentleman on the bench, yeah,
Right.
who may have been sat there because he was on a lunch break. He may have been sat there because he'd lost his partner and
Hmm.
was thinking. Because I bet his head was down. He wasn't looking out into at anything. But remember seeing it was only a couple of days, so just after the Super Bowl. So the
Hmm.
Super Bowl, where I have no idea what the score of the Super Bowl was. I don't know who won. I don't know who was in the final of the Super Bowl. But what I do know is that Bad Bunny did the
Yep.
halftime show and
Yep.
Kid
Yep.
Rock did the alternative
Toilet
halftime
paper
show.
USA. Yeah.
Right, that's it. So, yeah, good old turning point. Um, and I saw a post, and it was from the owner of JJ's Bar in America.
Mm,
I believe a Southern state. I may be wrong. And when halftime show came on, this is her story. When
mm,
the halftime show came on, I put half and half screen, so we had both shows playing.
mm,
And the people who wanted to watch the Kid Rock show had a great time. The people who wanted to watch the Bad Bunny show were so angry that we had the Kid Rock show on. They were abusing me, and they went and they gave me bad reviews, and they were rude
Mm,
to the waitresses, and they were terrible, terrible people.
hmm
And then, like you do, like we all do, because we're like, oh, even though this affects me not one single iota, I'm
mm.
going to spend a couple of minutes of my day reading the comments.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I take my mantra is don't read the comments, but I always read the comments. And when I start going through it, and there's all these people, it's these, yeah, the liberals, the
Mm,
lefties, and
yeah.
all the names they've got for Democrats. And don't get me
hmm
wrong, the left does it to the right as well, gives all these very creative names,
Mm.
despite the fact they're all adults, which always makes me laugh when you call, oh, you libturd. You know,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah,
you're a 60-year-old person. Just
yeah,
why?
yeah.
Come on. But there's all this, and it's all obviously confirmation bias. You know, they're all like, yeah, I
Mm.
knew these people. And then someone just put a screenshot with, and it was just the comment they put was, I've just been on TripAdvisor, Google review, and Yelp.
Mm.
And the only review I found on the day of the Super Bowl, or the day of the Super Bowl and the day after, was one giving a low review saying the waitress was a bit rude and the food was cold.
hmm hmm
Like there was no
So there's no
review
basis.
bombing. No, it was just someone. So it was someone looking probably, and it's this is, I suppose, an extrapolation of what you're talking about. But there's some people who have seen how
Mm.
others profit from this kind of behavior, and if that person was obviously they're American, so they were a Republican from the sounds of it, saying the Democrats or Democrats fans. I don't know. I think America is just fans. It's not voters these days.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, did something bad to me and my business is suffering,
Mm.
knowing is basically a call to arms. More people, more
Yeah.
Republicans will go there. They would get better reviews, and they would subsequently profit from that.
hmm
So whether that was the plan or not, or they just wanted to clickbait
Yeah,
online and that validation of,
yeah.
oh, I just need someone to agree with me, even though the whole thing was not true.
hmm It's
Um,
a lot of people think they're on a crusade as well. I think that's part of it as well. Like it's
yeah,
not just necessarily monetary profit. Sometimes it's like they believe they're on a crusade and they want to join in and like, the culture wars and they think
yeah,
they're participating in a war and they're doing what they can to win the war.
yeah.
And they are very quick to use, like we were saying, misinformation. They're too easy. It's like an example. I got into an argument with someone on LinkedIn of all the social media networks
Absolutely.
to get into an argument with someone. And it was the poster, and he had a post going massively, doing big numbers, massive. I don't know if it's massively viral, if you can do that on LinkedIn, but getting a lot of traction. Um, and so he had put in a screenshot, and I couldn't remember, it was maybe a year ago this happened or longer, put in a screenshot from a news story, just text. And he had said, "This is awful. This have to stop. Look at all this stuff, blah, blah, blah." And then it had a news story. And then I was like saying, can you provide me a link to where that news story is from? And then he would deflect and say, just come out with some nonsense. And I would like ask him, can you tell me where that's from? And eventually I went and typed into Google, and this was like some, very right wing stuff he'd put in. I typed into Google the text that he had that he had got that was on this photo that he'd shared. And it turned out that was like I found the article from that, and it was from a website called the Babylon Bee, which is you're laughing, you probably know what it is, which
I,
is like
I can imagine.
a satirical news website. But not only that, like from a very right wing perspective, the Babylon Bee tends to be
So
very right
the
wing
the
stuff.
opposite of the onion, essentially.
Yes. Yeah, essentially, yes. So like this guy, and I was like asking him, "Do you know where it is?" And where it's from, and I really wanted him to ask me, and I was like, "You should ask me where it's from. Do you know? I know where it's from. Do you know where it's from?" Anyway, he blocked me.
Ah,
So
well, that's it. Because you can do that, and
yeah,
you don't have to answer any questions. You don't have
hmm
to be accountable.
no,
So my brother-in-law, and shout out to Lee, love you, Lee. He's my best mate, and for purely the fun of it, set up
mm,
a um social media account on TikTok
hmm
called Fake News.
right,
Okay, now that's the very, very important part
yes, yeah,
because then he'll put on a a post or like a video saying um, vaccines to be given at nursery schools,
hmm
regardless of parental permission. Something ridiculous, untrue,
yeah,
easily Googleable, if that's the
yeah,
word,
yeah,
um, and puts it out there. And the rage that comes through is ridiculous. And then you've
hmm
got other people who do have maybe an ounce of critical thinking going, do you not know, did you not even look at the name of the
Look at the
account?
name. Yeah,
Like, it's got, it says fake news. And
yeah,
you just, as a social experiment, I
hmm
think it was genius because it's just showing, because he doesn't, do comments or maybe small replies or anything like that. But people just get so angry at this
yeah,
stuff. And it's because they they believe that this would happen
mm,
based on nothing apart from the fact that the rabbit holes they're going down
yeah,
based on oh, political views of everyone's out to get them,
yeah, yeah,
no one's
yeah,
out to get anyone else,
hmm
and it's just more this, yeah, well, I see this, and you know what, I will believe that. And then when someone says, well, look, it's fake news, I said, yeah, but it probably will happen, or it could happen, and if you don't believe it could happen, then you're in the wrong. And then you sat there thinking, hang on, you're you fell for something or you've read something. No,
Mm.
we know it's not true, yet you're still telling me that I could be wrong and you still think you've won? Like
Yeah,
what?
yeah, yeah,
And these people exist.
yeah. It's you're right at using the word "one" there as well, because there
Yeah,
is a a crossover. People seem to think correct is also one, like
yeah.
is also victory. So like, and the thing is, why on the on the internet, people can claim victory, and there's nothing like you can really. There's no third party adjudicator with the authority to be like, no, you have lost, you have shown to be an idiot. Like, you can carry on and give the impression Pete, I swear to God, some people think as long as I give the impression I think I've won, even if I haven't, then I will
I'm
still
off.
have. Yeah, then I that is victory to me. I don't want that person to know that I have conceded the point or lost the point.
Yeah.
As long as I continue
Well,
to present being right, even if I know I'm wrong.
and what they'll do is the conversation will change. So either via the means that the goalpost will change,
Yeah.
or a direction of the conversation. So,
hmm
so their statement is uh, person A is bad because of situation one. And
Mm,
then you say, well, actually, this didn't happen. And I
hmm
say, yes, but person B in situation two did happen. And
mm.
you're like, okay, but that's not what we're talking about. Oh, so
Yeah.
you're defending them then? No, I'm not defending them. So you think it's okay to do? Okay, so this is very kind. So the friend of the UK, Tommy
Mm,
Robinson,
Oh
um,
yes, great friend.
battle hardied, was a journalist, I believe,
Yeah, that's what he says.
is so okay, he said he is moving to moving out of the UK
Mm.
because he is a threat from ISIS.
Right, right, sure, yeah.
So they're like, well, this guy is as such a threat to ISIS that he's going to move out. Okay.
Yeah.
Now apparently it's come from it's come from the government. It's come from police sources. As far I can't really find anything of it, but it seems to be the narrative that is coming from
Mm,
law enforcement of some description, some level.
mm.
And so people are like, oh, yeah, that's, God, Tommy, you protect
Yeah.
your family and
Yeah.
all this stuff. Now, but I mean, everyone's disregard the fact he lives in Spain anyway. Like he has a
Hmm.
property in Spain. He does live there. So he's not moving,
Mm, hmm.
he's returning.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll ignore that for now. I put I put a comment on a post saying, oh, he's fleeing. He's moved to another country to flee ISIS. How ironic, because obviously he's against people doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, And people are saying, um, so is should we allow ISIS in the UK? And
What?
I said no, and they're like, good. And and so I do that one word up, but because obviously this it's ridiculous. They're like, oh, okay, so you think that he should have to stay and put up with it? I'm like,
Mm, mm.
oh, put up with what? Like,
Yeah.
but this pile of people just
Mm, mm.
accepting that what that people. I don't like getting political on the show and naming. Like, I don't mind being political as an umbrella.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't like saying, oh, this party and that party and this person. Tommy Robinson's a
Hmm.
journalist, so it's not politics.
Hmm.
Um, Self-proclaimed journalist.
Yeah.
Um, I he's an agitator and he will say things, yet people who align with his way of
Mm,
thinking
hmm.
will still and the fact that he still owes the HMRC that tens of thousands of pounds and also shows that maybe he's not actually the most
Yeah.
UK centric person. But
Yes.
people
Yeah.
will still, because he doesn't like this group of people,
Hmm.
he can do no wrong. And
Yeah.
that blows my mind.
Yeah. And
But
he puts out his begging tweets on social media and stuff because he will tweet like, "Oh, I'm being persecuted. We need funds to fight this. Blah
yeah,
blah blah." So like you're right. He's the prime example of being like, I will say things, you know, that people will agree with, the worst possible things that people will agree with, and thus I will benefit.
yeah.
I will get money from it.
And people will donate against their better their because this is, and I don't think it is like there's an argument put out certainly of we're going through there's rising reform and things like that. And people, what annoys me is when I see people say um they're going to trying to go into demographics of who's going to vote reform, and they say basically the uneducated.
Mhm.
Now, I don't like that because
Mm,
I think it gives an idea that I don't know the poorer you are, the dumber you are. I mean,
sure.
I came away from education with nothing, and I do okay. I have my family. Yeah, we have the
Hmm.
house. We doing okay
Yeah.
based on the poor decisions I made when I was younger. So I don't like the fact of saying, well, if you're dumb, you'll vote reform. Now, I
Yeah.
think it's more critical thinking. Like if you don't,
Yeah.
if you allow yourself to have to be over overcome by that kind of confirmation bias and you can't think for yourself on a subject.
Mm,
I always say Donald Trump. So obviously I'm not American, so I don't I don't vote,
yeah.
but I don't particularly like the guy. I think he's abrasive and brash and obviously potentially not a nice guy, allegedly not a nice guy. Um, but during his first term, before he went proper nuts the second term,
Mm,
I said it actually doesn't matter any good he does because he will be that polarizing figure,
mm, mm.
and people on the left will call him a demon. People on the right will think he's a god, but no one will actually look at any good he's done
Right. Yeah.
if he did anything at all, right? Because
Mm,
of the stupid things he says. He'll never convince the other side that he's done all
sure.
right
Yeah.
because he's a moron. and he shows everyone he's a moron
Yeah,
consistently.
yeah,
And I think, as a side note, that's just him playing the game to basically benefit and deflect. But anyway, that's by the by.
On
But
the
it's
topic, though, I want to pick up your point on on uneducated. That's interesting. I wonder if perhaps it could be true, but not as an indictment on the intellect of those people, but perhaps an indictment on the failure of an education system. So perhaps there might be a case to be said uneducated. And people from poorer backgrounds tend to have less access to education, and that's a
yeah,
failure of the system, and that's a
yes,
failure of uh, the educational system, the capitalist system. So, um, I totally get. I am there with you saying we shouldn't call these people stupid, but I also kind of think there might be a case to be made for like, well, by saying uneducated, we're not putting the blame on them. It's not up to them
yeah.
to educate themselves as children or what have you. And one of the things that maybe, probably not, probably like addition, but and subtraction. But I was going to say maybe the most important thing I learned in school was about provenance. It's certainly the thing that struck me as the most of the more complicated concepts you're taught in school. That was something that really has stuck with me, and that is I was learning it in history, and it was about, well, how do you know this source about the Second World War is accurate, and like how can you know things are telling the truth? Because and and we learned about, right, so this is what Nazi propaganda looks like,
Mhm.
and this is what Allied
I
propaganda
I
looks
remember
like.
doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've got to go and you've got to assess the political bias or any other kind of biases that there might be in that kind of writing. Um, who funded them? What are the individual writers and the owners like ideologies? Are they trying to push them? How unbiased is this? And that was like such an important part of of learning about history and how can you tell what the truth of the matter. It's about truth, getting to what truth is. And I don't know. I feel like, was it just me? Was or and a few select people who were very, very lucky to have had that taught in school? Because going by the internet, not many people are doing that checking the provenance of
Well,
sources to see if it's trustworthy.
no, and that's the most annoying thing that yeah, people don't fact check. People don't look at the source. People will see a survey done
Hmm.
based on and they'll say, well, everyone's going to vote this way. Look at
Mm-hmm.
this poll, and then in the small writing it says, based on a survey of 204 people outside Lidl.
Mm.
And you're like, oh, okay, that but because the big writing is this is this is what's
Yeah.
happening, and the little
Mm.
they don't look at the little and don't think, well, actually, that's only 204 people
Yeah. Yeah.
on a high street. Like you're, and yeah, maybe that was a too small a part, or maybe it wasn't impactful enough
Mm.
kind of during the because I remember that. I remember having the side by side posters, and I remember
Mhm.
create your own poster, and it was kind of not directly political, but if you were going to support cats, then do
Yeah.
your cat poster.
Yeah. Yeah.
um
Perhaps it's to do with attention spans as well, modern attention spans. And I say that, it's somewhat ironic. It's somewhat ironic I'm saying that as someone with ADHD, but um, you know, I feel like attention spans and concentration are getting shorter due to the internet, social media,
mm,
and like the reason I'm saying is that it's because you said like, oh, that's the big headline, and people just see the headline and like go, all right, okay, right, so that's and sometimes, like the headline, it maybe is the takeaway, but you kind of do need. Maybe that's the overriding takeaway, but the headline is to get your attention. It's not like
yeah.
this is the only thing you need to know. This is all the nuance you need. And there's a podcaster called Tim Pool who's enormously successful, very, very rich. And he was on, he has guests on and stuff, and they talk about the news. And someone was talking to him. I think it was Sam Cedar, who's another podcaster, radio host. And and this Tim Pool guy was just reading the headlines and going like, right, and now we talk about it. And Sam Cedar was asking him like, yeah, but go into it. Like, don't you need, what about the sources that they're quoting? What about the data? Because often this Tim Pool guy would look at the headlines, use that as the takeaway, but the data, the actual bit below it, would be contrary to what he thought the headline was saying. And this Tim Pool guy was just saying, "Oh, that's the format of the show. We just look at headlines and then we talk about what we think they mean." And it's like, so you just extrapolate like just bollocks out of like some words that you read, because the rest you're not going to bother reading. Stu, I don't know if you don't have the concentration span, or you don't understand like the complicated words
Yeah.
or something used in it, or the nuanced ideas being discussed, but like without any shame, like with just like as though it was any other reasonable thing, just going, oh, that's the format. We just read the headlines. Yeah, that's how we do it.
I,
As though that's not like a bad thing.
how? Oh God, what an easy premise for a show that is.
Yeah.
I tell you, should we give it a quick go? Right. So
Mhm.
I've just opened Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a scroll. So I get a lot of football on my feed. That's always a good one. Rival fans taking a bit of information, skewing it so it looks like
Mhm.
it supports them. Oh, there's sorry, Portsmouth Comic Con's come up my feed. Live show there, 2nd and 3rd of May. Geoff Jones and Friends make a better come along. Um, I've also taken my glasses off, so this is going to be oh God, this is now that's more football. What's it? I get a lot there's so many adverts.
Yeah.
Um, Kate Penfold. Hi, Kate. So she's come up on my feed. Right, so this is uh, Ilhan Omar calls to execute President Trump.
Right. I mean,
Have you seen, first of all, have you seen this?
no, not at all.
Okay. So and this is RNC
I mean, I know who both
research.
those people are.
Yeah. So from that, obviously we would then talk about whether or not it's okay to execute Donald Trump.
Yeah, I would, if we were doing the Tim Pool format where we were just discussing that, I would be like, oh my God, I can't believe she did that. That would be my first thing. It would be
Yeah.
like, what? A
What?
a city. I can't remember what. I can't remember if she's a congresswoman or a senator or something. I apologize.
Yeah.
I'm aware who she is. I do like
A
American
Congress,
politics.
Democrat congresswoman.
Thank you. I would be like, that is completely outrageous. You cannot call for the execution of, and then I would, want to talk to you about what does this mean? Because I would say that is an earth-shattering moment to
It
call for the execution of
of a
your head of
president.
state. Can you imagine if,
Yeah.
like, Kemi Badenoch started calling for the execution of Keir
Right.
Starmer? Like,
That
what?
and that's it. So yeah, it's a Democrat congresswoman Ilhan Omar called to execute President Trump last night in deeply unsettling tweets. So yeah, yeah. So we said like like wow, she must be punished, right?
Yeah.
That's the call to arms for this person
Mhm.
must be punished. Now,
Yeah.
would you like to know what actually happened? What Ilhan Omar actually did?
Yes, please, because I cannot believe for a second she called for his execution.
So apparently, the tweet actually said something along the lines. It may have been paraphrased, but something along the lines of, "In Somalia, we execute pedophiles."
Oh, interesting.
Right?
Right, right. Okay. So I don't know what RNC research is, but I imagine it's
They've got a
very much
gold.
aligned with
They've
Trump.
got a gold tick.
So yeah, because you can buy that though now, can't you? Which is another problem. You can pay to
Well,
be
can you pay a
an
gold tick
authority.
though?
I don't know. I might be wrong on that one. I apologize if
I
I
don't.
if
I
I'm
don't
wrong.
know, but
But yeah, I mean, it's run by, again, we're talking about provenance. Look who it's run by. Look where his biases lie. Who is he going to award these gold ticks to?
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
what's really fascinating about that, though, and interesting, is what this, I assume, right-wing publication, I assume Republican is the
Yeah,
R there. What they've done is they've read that and they've gone, pedophile Trump. They've
yeah,
made the
right.
connection.
That
He's
would
not said Trump. They've made the
they
connection. They've gone,
they
oh, it must be talking about Trump.
imagine, yeah,
Cause pedo.
because yeah, and that's it. Trying to make it out that it's an accusation
Yeah.
or nuance or innuendo or whatever it is towards that, but they're just saying, yeah, Trump. Like
Yeah.
you just think,
They're like, could be talking about anyone, mate. Any,
oh, maybe
I
they
mean,
just
obviously
do
it's a
that.
reception. It is a reference, obviously, to the Epstein files,
Yeah.
but also they have then they've just gone one step further and just called Trump a paedophile. Like what they could have gone with is Ilhan Omar calls Trump a paedophile, but I suppose that's nothing new. A lot of people do. But their ire should be at her suggesting he's a paedophile, not her not going. Oh,
Well,
she's called for that our chief paedophile's
right, the
execution.
chief bit. But they're made the crazy thing is because it's so divided,
Mm,
instead of being a right wing or on the right, a Republican outlet, and looking at someone on the left
mm,
saying, well, do you know what though? They've got their right?
mm,
Because yeah, there's a lot of people believe that should be the case.
mm.
Someone will twist that now and say Geoff Jones said that a lot of people believe. Geoff didn't say paedophiles should be. So I'm just writing my own headlines now for ultimately when I become
Yeah,
famous, someone trawls through back all the archives and proves this out.
yeah,
Um, but because A, Trump says smiling's bad,
yeah.
and B, she's a Democrat, they
Mhm.
can't put a positive spin on that in any way, shape, or form, despite the fact that what she
Yeah,
said is actually what I believed is, you know what, do it. They got it right.
yeah,
And so they go full snake eating itself.
yeah, yeah.
um,
They're
oh,
getting so mixed up in trying to twist it to agree with them and sell it to people whose opinions, they're trying to appeal to and get clicks from. They've got so mixed up in that they've forgotten or didn't realize that they've just called Trump a paedophile, which is staggering.
oh my God. But this is the world that we live in now. That no one, people are so fiercely contesting their side and
Yeah,
backing their side.
it's a
So,
post-truth world.
because it is. I mean, I see myself. I'd say I am a left-leaning centralist. Now, even saying you're a centralist these days means you don't really know where the center is
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's so expand now, and
yeah,
anyone on the right is far right. There's no right anymore. In anything that you read, it's always far right. It's never just on the right.
yeah.
You're
Mhm.
never right leaning anymore. And
Sure. Yeah,
obviously lefties, they're all loony lefties. Yeah, this insinuation that anyone who yeah votes for the left is yeah just has some
yeah.
kind of they sort of hides the blue hair and
Yeah.
the genders and all this stuff. And do you
There's
know
a
what?
very conscious, deliberate tug of war over the Overton window, is what's going
Yeah,
on.
yeah. Do you know what I found very interesting of that? And again, we are getting quite political, but actually, I'm really enjoying this conversation because we're not. We are a little bit, but we're not.
Yeah.
Um, it came out the other day that obviously Jeremy Corbyn was in the Epstein files,
Right. Okay.
and when Jezza was around, I liked what he was saying. I thought maybe it was too far fetched, but I thought screw it. What's the harm
Mm,
in just
mm,
seeing how far we can run with this?
yeah.
And obviously, he was just trounced and
Yeah.
media and everyone. And it comes out in the Epstein files, which now
Mm,
we are kind of, unless you're Prince Andrew's ex-girlfriend, if you're who said that if you weren't in the Epstein files, you're a bit of a loser,
mhm.
um, which was insane. But Jeremy Corbyn's named in the Epstein files basically with Epstein saying to someone he cannot be allowed to come into power.
Right. Okay. So
Jeremy
that's a
Corbyn
good. Yeah.
cannot, right? And for me, that's complete vindication. That is,
Yes.
but it also shows how powerful people are.
Mm,
That a very powerful person and
mhm,
now notorious nasty
mm,
person,
yeah.
which is an understatement of the world of all time, had the ear of enough people
Mm,
that one person, one political person, was completely abolished. Like they were just annihilated
yeah. 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 Yeah.
for simply
Absolutely. Yeah.
wanting Wi-Fi for everyone. Like,
Yeah. And the way
uh,
to twist that, of course, is to go Jeremy Corbyn in the Epstein files and just leave it there and allow
yeah,
people to just draw their conclusions.
I
Whereas,
knew it.
yeah, the more nuanced take is in Epstein files because enemy of Epstein.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. No, oh, no, no one cares that much about wind turbines without touching a few. Well, you know what I mean. Um,
Yeah.
okay, that RJ, I this is a very dangerous conversation because this is the kind of conversation I could quite happily talk on forever on,
Me
right?
too.
Because it starts so much earlier than what it is. So it doesn't even start at school. It starts with people's parents and grandparents, right? Because
Hmm.
behavior and thoughts and opinions very much come from is generational,
Mm,
and it takes a strong young person to decide, well, actually, I don't think that's how I think.
sure, sure, sure.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I don't think a 14-year-old has to sit and go, actually, Dad, I don't think you should say that. But
Mm,
maybe by the time they're 30, they're thinking, oh, do you know what? Actually, this is, yeah, because change is the most powerful thing anyone can have. And okay, whether one person believes someone else's change is right or wrong based
mm,
on a political, yeah, political mindset change,
mm,
that
mm.
that's not, it's still powerful to change as long as you're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Um, but it comes from society, it comes from media. They say so
Mm,
everything is a 30-second clip now.
yeah.
Everything's a thumbnail, everything's a headline.
Yeah.
And so for people, I think especially for young people, it's very, very difficult. And you've
Yeah.
got yeah, you've got the Andrew Tates of the world. You've got these yeah, you've got Sesame Street making children gay. Like it's a minefield out there at
Yeah.
the moment.
Yeah.
I obviously I'm being ironic with that, but like
Yeah.
this is the narratives that are going on.
Yeah.
So I could talk about this for hours, but
You're just
I
swimming in it as well. Like it's the atmosphere, it's the air that you breathe. Like it's similar to religion in that if people are converting to a religion, often you will find, and I can't remember where the study is, but also it's like patently obvious. Um, Although I shouldn't say that because that is not that is just a rhetorical thing, and that is not based on evidence. So please reject what I'm about to say. But people will, if they're converting to a religion, or they're or just brought up and just have that inclination from childhood or something like that, they're just inclined, they will tend to by a vast majority convert to or start believing in the religion which is the dominant religion in the land.
yeah,
So you will go, if someone hears the voice of God, or a God in and it's a revelation for them, and I'm not trying to belittle this at all, but if you have some kind of spiritual connection that's new to you, and you are in England, there is the likelihood that it will be Christian. You will be hearing the Christian God,
yeah,
and it will be, you will start believing in Christianity or something. Whereas if you are in, I don't know, India somewhere, you might have the same experience, but lo and behold, you are listening, you will hear a Hindu god or something, because that is the culture over there and that is the air
yeah,
that you breathe. And the same, and then in places in Northern Africa, Islam, etc., etc. It goes on and on. So it's that same kind of thing. It's like you you're not, you can't hear. It's very difficult for people to hear the voice of a god and then it not be the predominant one,
Yeah,
of the land. And it's true of like you were saying about it goes, this fact checking and stuff, and this attitude towards fact checking and provenance. It goes back before school. It's like the whole atmosphere that we seem to be in, and we are feeding ourselves it through our eyeballs with all this content, this content which has been whistleblown to be shown to be deliberately designed to be as addictive as possible as well.
yeah.
So yeah, you are being addicted to this kind of digital drug, which is then help trying to make you, or in some outlets, trying to make you, in other cases, passively make you just take this very surface level, believe, believe what you already believe, feel good, feel that validation of
Yeah.
being right slash correct slash victorious.
Do you know what? So I got, and this is probably the ADHD part of my
Hmm.
brain. I got really sidetracked by something you said quite early on in that. So
Hmm.
first of all, very eloquent,
Thank you.
but the bit I focused on, and I'm really sorry about this, RJ,
No,
was
no.
when you so you highlighting that when God speaks to someone, they are it's their so we will say Christian God because we are
Hmm.
in the UK.
Yeah.
And my brain went to, oh yeah, like you never get like, someone sat in, I don't know, Wiltshire in the UK,
Yeah.
and so I talking to their friend and go, God spoke to me. Like, oh, what did he say? Like, I don't know. They're speaking Punjabi. I don't know. They were speaking Danish. Like, it's never that, is
Yeah.
it? It's like, oh, it's really
Old
clear.
Norse, I
What he
think.
said, yeah, what he said to me. Do you know what? He had an American accent, which I thought was weird. Like, it's never that, is it? It's very clear, and I'm
Yeah.
not belittling. I'm not belittling because my mum and stepdad are British, and my stepdad is, so I'm not. They knew who I am, my opinions on
Mhm.
religion, but I also think that anyone who has a sense of community and belief, it fascinates me, but I respect what they have.
Yeah.
But it is that again that confirmation bias. Well, we live in England, so there's a God, and it's a Christian God.
Yeah.
And we'll ignore the fact that actually the story of Jesus Christ is the same as the sun god Ra from 3,000 years ago.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
because this is what, we know that Christianity was 4,000 or two and a half thousand whatever it is years old. We know
Hmm.
there's older religions. We know it's the same story, but you know what? It doesn't matter.
Mm.
And I think done the right way, all these God, I know these mega church people and all the weirdness that surrounds the profiteering of religion,
The
I think is
prosperity
terrible.
gospel, they call it.
Yes, that's it. Do you know what? We can save so many more people, more lives, more babies if you give us money.
Yeah.
And that I don't agree with. But that I right, RJ, I have again. Yes, you know what you don't do because you obviously want me to stand still because you are picking all the points. First of all, that when I say to any guest, I say, yeah, we do anything you want, just not religion or politics. And we
Oh
have
no.
covered the spectrum.
Yeah.
But I hope people think in a conversational and productive way.
Yeah.
But look, how are we making this better?
I think we have to. I love language and words. It's part of what I do, and I think they're super powerful, and they change, obviously shape our culture. And we need to empower the word, because I think these words are seen as a defeat or as a weakness, and I don't think they are. I think we need to empower the words. I don't know,
Yes.
because like it's fine, and it's better to just be like, I don't know. I'll have to find out. Like,
Yeah,
I'll have to do some learning. People seem to want to be like, I know, I have all the opinions. And that is some kind of position of strength, is some kind of being an authority that people seem to crave online. Um, and I think it happens in, workplaces as well. And other facets of, all kind of like, I'm sure it's happened way before the internet existed, but don't people want to be that authority. People want to be seen as someone with knowledge and wisdom and answers. And that is a strong thing. Whereas I think we need to empower and encourage people to go, don't know.
don't know.
Like, I don't know. Like, and it doesn't mean you don't
Or
care.
or
In fact, it
teach
probably,
me.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Improve my wisdom, please.
Yeah.
And then I can be right. If you want to be right. But like, not this false right where you're just like pretending you're right and gaslighting yourself into thinking that you're right because you fed yourself a certain intellectual diet. But um, be right, be properly right, and know you're right. Have like a really, people get into arguments and debates and stuff online all the time on social media. And it's like, if you want to win that, though, like why don't you just make yourself completely unbeatable and
Mm,
learn all the facts and have no chinks in your armor,
yeah.
and just be like, I'll go and learn. I don't know. I'll go and learn and find out, or take some other opinions on the matter. Like, so I think, yeah, empowering not knowing and not seeing not knowing something as a weakness. And it's not a lack of care. It's just the state of being you happen to be in towards that a particular matter at hand.
I think that's very profound and quite poignant because people do listen, they need to be able to back up. They
Hmm.
need to own up, back up, and if you say something now the internet, so you could literally at the touch of a button reply to someone at the other side of the world, okay, who
Mm.
is going to have a different of opinion than you based on their own social. Yeah, the person down the road from you has got a different history, let alone people across the world. It's okay not to know, or it's okay to know so much,
Mm.
and then be like, oh, this person is they know more,
Yeah.
and so I haven't got a rebuttal. So do you know what? I don't know. Based on what you've said, I will look.
Mm. Mm.
There's also people need to say I was wrong. Now I don't expect that's ever going to happen anytime
Yeah.
soon.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, and people also need to be able to say, I'm sorry, I got that wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, something even less likely, because that's why God invented the block button on social
Hmm.
media,
Yeah.
because people don't have to be held accountable for
Hmm.
being wrong. They can just say, actually, I don't like having this conversation. Goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I think if more people like, could say to us, I don't know, then
Yeah. And
a
also,
movement begins and an
being
intellectual
wrong.
growth begins.
Yeah. Being wrong doesn't need to be like wrong as well. It's not like you were proved wrong. We were just talking about religion. Being wrong is like, and finding out you're wrong can be great. It can be almost, I don't know if I'm right. This has just occurred to me. This could be wrong and using the words incorrectly. But being wrong, you could say another word for being wrong and prove is a revelation. And
Mm.
that's a great thing. Like, people love to have revelations. I've had revelations, and it's a great feeling. And you're like,
Terminology,
my
yeah.
world has changed. Like, I'm like, whoa. Like, recently I found out that there was, and I'm a big animal lover. I'm into animals. I love the animals. I love the documentaries. I love the facts. But I very recently, in the grand scheme of things, found out there's no such individual animal as a panther. Like, and it
What?
blew my mind. I know, right? There's no such really individual animal as a panther, a black panther. A panther is either a black leopard or a black jaguar. There is no individual species called a panther. And that blew my mind. I know, and it's blowing your mind. When I tell
Wait,
people, I'm like, there's no panthers. Panthers aren't real in a way.
wait, hang on, wait.
Look
What?
it up on.
Wait. Wait, hang on. Wait,
It's
so you
just
say
a color version of two different animals. And what's weird is jaguars and leopards don't even live in the same continent. One lives in like South America, the other is on Africa. So like someone thought, I don't know if people thought they were the same animal or something that was spread across different ones, but they're not. They're two separate animals. They're just color versions of two
so?
separate animals.
So someone looked at a black leopard and was like, "Well, that's not a
Hmm.
leopard." However many decades ago they said that's not a leopard because leopards look like this. So
Yeah.
I'm going to call that a panther,
Yeah.
and quite often referred to as a black panther, which would
Yeah.
mean that there's other colors of
Other
panther, but
kinds of
actually,
panther. Yeah.
but there isn't.
No.
And someone else went and jaguars and panthers, leopards look the same. They must do in certain ways because that
Well, they're
same
both
person.
yellow and spotty.
So
Like
the
it,
same
like a
person could have
cheetah
been
is roughly
like,
the same.
and that I and we've just all accepted that, but there is no panther. So it's
No, it's two color versions of two different separate animals. There's no one animal. There's no one species that's a panther.
so
Panthers don't exist.
the Black Panther is
It's a lie.
essentially the turquoise.
Yeah,
Or I don't like that. I'm 43 years old, and this is a new reality for me,
I
just
can
beginning
see
right
how it
now.
happened because, like, obviously, both leopards and jaguars are some of the most distinct looking animals on the planet. Like you can say, what do they look like? The yellow with dark spots. Um, so I can see why when they have such a definitive color scheme of, you would look at a black one and go, well, that's not one because the famously jaguars and leopards have leopards have yellow and black spot. I'm now second guessing myself whether or not jaguars have yellow and black spots or if there's something else. But I can understand why they've gone. Well, a leopard is famously yellow with black spots, so this is obviously not a leopard. But yes, and
But
if
to
you look
continue
at
the lie for this
yeah,
long,
yeah, it's insane. And if you look at like a black, I think it's leopards are more pronounced, whereas if you look at a panther leopard, which sounds like a breed, but it's not, it's just a leopard. If you look at a panther leopard, you can see darker spots amongst the black. There's like dark colors, and then it's obviously black, and then there's deeper black, which are the spots. It's blew my mind. And so the joy I feel like we've just experienced together in what has been a
I
revelation for you and was for me, that's being found to be wrong, and it's a wonderful feeling.
well, it is, but also I'm now in full existential crisis of what else in my life has been a complete and utter lie.
But that's great that you think that
But
as well, because now you're going to question perceived
uh,
wisdom and structures and things that you've taken for granted all your life. And that's great. That is how humanity moves
but
forward, where we question things that we've just taken for granted and gone, actually, maybe there's another way of viewing this. Maybe there's a better, more accurate way of doing things.
I also watch out literally everyone I know because Jeff's coming at you with a new fact.
I know, right? I tell everyone.
Um, RJ, before we wrap this up, I might make it better is probably easier than yours of having people admit that they don't
Hmm.
know something.
Yeah.
Um, so our phones basically listen to everything, right? So my
Mm.
phone's sat next to me right now. I'm probably going to have some Tommy Robinson news, religious news, and Panther news, right? That's always going to be
Yeah.
on my feed. What if our phones actually became useful
Mm.
because you can check anything, everything and anything online these days, right? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, you got
Yeah.
to find the right source for the information, but it's
Yeah.
there, right? How's about if when you say something and it's complete and
Hmm.
utter rubbish, your
Yeah.
phone goes boop boop. Actually, this is the right, and
Perfect.
you can't control the volume.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just calls you out. It just was
Yeah.
it community notes, as it was once called. Yeah, your phone and before then, either people leave their phones at home, switch them off, which is also a
Hmm.
benefit,
Yeah.
or they get called out. Or you post something on
Yeah,
social media and it's wrong, and your phone just kind of auto corrects it. This is what you
yeah,
said. However, this is what it. Yeah, the phone should be put to good use.
yeah. We're almost there. I feel like that's such a good idea because we could implement that with the technology we have, I feel. Because
Yeah,
I don't know if your phone does this, but my phone will identify songs that are playing
yeah.
and it will tell me. So it will
Yes,
tell
it,
me
it
information,
exists.
right? Yeah. So it does that, right? And we have AI, for better or
Uh,
worse. And AI, you can speak to AI and go, hey, you can say, okay, Google, tell me such and such, and it will tell me such and such. And obviously, I've just activated my phone. Um, obviously, you need to then fact check that because I've typed in stuff to AI and I've been like, well, I know that's wrong.
yeah,
But by and large, it will tell you correct information.
yeah. It
Your idea is really implementable. Like we just combine that kind of like listening to what the music is and displaying the information relevant to the noise going off around it with AI. Just push it that bit further. Perfect.
and it's like sources. Now,
Yeah.
see, the obscure things is actually your idea is very implementable. However, the human race won't do that to themselves
Yeah.
because we don't like being
Hmm.
wrong.
Yeah.
Um,
So will
uh,
anyone use your idea? Do you want to be called? Because they'll be like, this is a
well,
thing that tells me I'm wrong
that's
all the
it.
time.
If it's downloadable app, people won't use it. If it's already on the
Yeah.
phone and they have no
Yeah.
choice,
Government
yeah.
mandate.
Government man. Yeah, everyone
Yeah.
loves the government man because it's
Yeah.
either that or we get a chip inserted in our brain, which
Hmm.
basically prevents you from speaking a lie. Now, I feel like that may be a little bit too far. So if everyone just signs up to the phone thing, I
Yeah.
think we're a little bit, or just say that you don't know. Literally just say if you're wrong or don't know, then it's
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, right, RJ. That was amazing. I love that kind of chat. I'm gonna have to listen back to make sure that I've not just upset the whole one and get cancelled because we're all afraid, even though we want to be outspoken, we're also don't want anyone to say because I'm really like I'm quite a sensitive soul, really.
Hmm.
Um,
It's
but
good to be like sensitive and aware of other people and like and I
that's
really
woke nonsense, RJ.
woke nonsense. I
That's
really
woke
hope I've not
nonsense.
said anything upsetting to anyone.
No,
But I also like I was just talking about concepts and ideas,
it
and
it
I did
was
not mean to target anyone whatsoever.
no. I think it's a was a very good conversation by one intelligent person and me.
Oh,
Um, but
don't say that.
right, RJ, we've got to let people go and have their dinner.
Hmm.
Give us a recap. So, like some bits you've worked. So your the bookshelf.
Bailey's
That
bookshelf.
yeah, those bits. Give us a recap where people can find you.
You can find me on Instagram. I'm all I am is RJ Bayley. You'll find me or RJ Bayley voice actor. So if you want to go on Facebook, it's RJ Bayley voice actor, and then you will get a very long thing that's all my job titles, which is far too long. It's RJ Bayley voice actor, sound designer and writer or what something. Um, RJ Bayley on Instagram. This is spelt Bayley, by the way. I have a slightly different spelling to my name. RJ Bayley on Blue Sky. I don't use Twitter anymore, or X or whatever it's called now. Also, you can find my links. Just search my link tree, which is linktr.ee/ RJ Bayley. Everything's on there. Metal Empire. If you go to mixcloud.com/ RJ Bayley, you'll find my radio show recordings, or you can listen to it live every Wednesday on metalworldradio.com at 1 in the afternoon UK time or 8 a.m. EST. And that, I think that's probably, and my writing for Xeogenesis. If you want to go on the Xeogenesis website and read the travelogues, that's me writing Trev's Travels.
Fantastic. Everyone, check out RJ. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation. RJ, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed it.
Me too.
Um, everyone, just yeah, as a sign off, it's if you find everyone is calling you a lefty loony or a far right nut job, then don't you don't have to embrace it. Now, I'm not saying you have to change how you think. Just look a little bit to the other side or look at what you believe and just double check that what you're saying or what you're putting out into the world is right. And if it challenges you, that's okay. Like you don't have to double down. You don't have to ignore it. You can learn something new, and you can still be a left-leaning or still far right or a centralist or some part of the spectrum. Your beliefs are still valid as long as you're just double checking every so often a bit of information which is coming in. Like it's easy to do. It doesn't make you weak. Doesn't make you woke. It just makes you human who is we are adaptable and we are capable of change. We are capable of being better and we are capable of just loving thy neighbor to bring it
Mhm.
back to a biblical. Right. But anyway, that's enough of me. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Just Google search Geoff Jones and Friends, make it better, and you'll find stuff. If you can't find me on that platform, then Better with Geoff finds me on certain things. I'm too tired to go through all the links. Do some blimmin' work. And you know what? If we said anything which you know is to be wrong, maybe it's this panther nonsense that RJ's been trying to promote, then let us know about it. And if you want to hear more about voice acting or how to get into it, then drop myself or RJ a comment or email. But apart from that, all there is time for me to say is thank you very much for listening. It's been a pleasure. RJ, thank you very much. But it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from RJ. Say goodbye, RJ Bayley.
Goodbye, RJ Bayley.
Goodbye.
Bye.